Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I am here in this secret snowy location, and guess what? The cold doesn't bother me. I still have my shorts on, but definitely one thing that's getting me all warmed up is this vehicle right here. What is this? This is the newly updated, changed up 2024 Honda Ridgeline, and guess what? This is an all new trim known as the Trailsport. But before we get into this diffused sky pearl color, which is absolutely stunning, let's talk about what's going on here. The Ridgeline, it's been around since 2006, believe it or not. And since that time, it really has revolutionized the truck industry. I remember being at the Daytona 200. Yes, the Daytona 200, the motorcycle race, watching the Hondas on track, but then also being able to see the first gen of this vehicle. Now, what's fascinating is that the truck industry has really exploded with many different size trucks and many different amenities. The Ridgeline is gonna fall perfectly within that mid-size truck segment. So what are some of the competitors? You're looking at that new Colorado, the new Canyon, of course, the updated redesigned Ranger, and the Frontier, and then finally we can't forget about the mighty Tacoma. Now what's fascinating is that Honda has been doing it their own way and a very unique way of bringing a lot of truck features but still having that comfortable, reliable driving experience. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for that best new midsize truck, is this new Ridgeline Trailsport the way to go? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, like I said, the color. This is all new on the Ridgeline. The color itself actually first appeared last year on the Pilot Trailsport. And if you see what's going on there, this is gonna be a Trailsport only color. The great news is that if you're thinking about getting a Passport Trailsport, you will now be able to get this color. And I'm telling you, it really fits it very nicely. Now at the front of the business, you're still gonna get that great LED lighting. You have that signature LED daytime running lamp. Of course, we have our LED headlights, projector beam headlights. And on all the trims, except for one, you're gonna get that gloss black brow across the front. And speaking of trims, besides this Trailsport getting pumped up for 2024, we also have a new top trim known as the Black Edition. So stay tuned for that because we're gonna be bringing you that one as well here on Rady's Rides. Now, as we drop down, one of the things I love is the full functionality. So you have those functional corner air curtains. Not only do they help the Ridgeline look a little bit more aggressive, but they're actually functional to clean up that air that hits the front of the vehicle. You'll also notice the LED fog lamps down below. So another nice touch. And the way that they went flat black with this area, I think is super smart, especially with this being a Trailsport. They expect people to go a little bit more on the unpaved kind of road, and this is gonna take a better beating. Now, as we come across that front mesh grille, new on the Trailsport, on this Ridgeline, you'll see the Trailsport badge. Love the way it's got the mountain range in the back with the bright orange coloring to it. And then you'll see that we have this almost like a pewter gray, metallic pewter gray upper grille area with that classic Honda badge, nice and large. It's almost like Flava Flav himself would like to take the clock off and hang this Honda badge around his neck. And then working our way down, we have a little bit more flat black. And I like this new garnish area, this skid plate garnish area in pewter. The reason why I like it is not only does it look good from the front, but wait until we get to the side of the vehicle because it's gonna kind of blend in with some stuff on the side. Now underneath, you do have on the Trailsport a steel, not an aluminum, not a plastic, not a fiberglass or a styrofoam skid plate. This is a steel skid plate to protect that oil pan and some of the other inner bits underneath the vehicle while you're going off-roading. But definitely, like I said, from the front, the Ridgeline has a little bit more oomph to it for 2024, especially with this Trailsport trim. Now, as we rise up, you're still gonna get that same great classic hood design on the Ridgeline. It just has a nice rise, and then you'll notice how it curves right towards the 8 pillars. Really think that it gives it that extra bold look. So it's not just about the front fascia and some of the changes that they made there, but also just that way that they have a nice bold look on the hood ties in the whole package like a big old ribbon, tying it on top of a present. Now, as we come around the bend here, I do have some presents for you. One of them is gonna be this all new wheel. You'll see that pewter gray finish to it, just like the skid plate garnish. I love the style. It really fits a truck style wheel. And then for the first time ever, I wish I had a drum roll machine, sound machine to actually make the drum roll. But the big news is not just these 18-inch wheels, but we now have for the first time these General Grabber AT tires. And when I say off-road spec, these are the real deal thing. You have your sidewall protection all the way around, so you're not gonna get a puncture. Another thing to know about is when we talk about the suspension, the engineers went through and they retuned everything, not only to give you a better off-road driving experience, but also a better on-road driving experience. Now, because of this being more of an off-road spec truck, I do like the flat black around the fender opening. It doesn't come too high up into the fender. Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section. I think it looks great, especially because, remember, on the lower bumper area, you do have that flat black. Now, as we rise up, another first on this Ridgeline Trailsport is gonna be your power folding mirrors. Now, if you're saying, well, Joe, what's the big deal about that? Let's think about this. If you're going down a trail and the trees are coming in, like we're here in this wintry scene area, and the trees are starting to get more and more narrow on you, you could obviously from inside power fold those mirrors so that they don't get ripped off or scuffed up or anything like that. I think that's another smart touch. You'll notice that we have the gloss black, and I like the way they do the turn signals nice and slim and trim on those side mirrors. Now, from the side of the vehicle, you could see that this is a mid-size truck. So if you're thinking that, oh, I'd rather go Ford Maverick or I'd rather go Hyundai Santa Cruz, those trucks are compact. This is a real deal mid-size truck. So that's where easily the Ridgeline lays the smackdown on that smaller competition. Of course, when it comes to the mid-size trucks that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that's where we're seeing what Honda is doing with this 2024 Ridgeline. Now up top, I love the way they do the cab design. And then you'll notice how you have this gloss black extender. This is for aerodynamics, air that comes off the side of the cab. Down below, you do have, of course, your flat black to help protect as you're going off-road. And then coming down the side of the bed, this is where Honda was bringing it first in a lot of different ways. And let me show you as we swing around the back. So I love one of the, it's like the simplest change, but I think it really elicits a big response. The name Ridgeline is prominently stamped right in the middle of the tailgate. Something so simple, but I love the way it looks. Of course, you're gonna have your classic Honda badge spelled out here, the name Honda. We do have our LED lighting for our taillights. I think the zonk for me is the old school Thomas Edison light bulbs. I could actually see Tommy in there rocking in his rocking chair, but I do like the way they did the LED brake lights. On the passenger side, you are gonna get your Trailsport badge out back. If we have one up front, you gotta have one out back. And then as we work our way down, nice exposed exhaust with a finisher on it that looks clean. It's a round opening, one on each side, and we have standard towing capability. Because remember, when we talk about the towing of this vehicle, we're talking about 5,000 pound towing rating. But as we rise back up, I think one of the things that I've always loved about the Ridgeline, especially this one, is how the rear tailgate opens two different ways. So what you gotta do is you just grab the handle and you have that swing open tailgate. This to me is what makes sense. And if you notice, a lot of brands are now finally doing this. So Honda was first with doing this. You'll see in the back of the bed, the way that it's nice and wide, you could actually take a full sheet of plywood and lay it flat or drywall. Of course, with our wintry scene, we have some snowboards back here. And I like the way the snowboard lengthwise fits perfectly fine. And then another thing to think about is that we have this composite bed structure that's gonna help take a beating. So I'm gonna get the snowboard out of here, and I'm gonna put this down real quick. And while Steven's showing off the back of the truck, you could see you have that nice composite bed. This is gonna help take that beating. And you have all these great tie-down locations. So you have tie-down locations throughout the whole bed of the truck. And then one of the big surprises that's been around since 2006, like I said, I remember being at the Daytona 200 and people were just blown away by this feature. You're still gonna get that under the bed storage. First of all, I love how wide the door opens. Second of all, you have over 7 cubic feet of space. You can see that's where we have our spare mounted and our jack. And then of course, we have some snowboarding accessories and plenty of room for those snowboarding Twinkies, of course. That makes sense. If you're gonna go snowboarding, you better bring your snowboarding Twinkies. The better news, what I personally would do, since we don't do a lot of snowboarding in Florida, is this is a usable cooler. So think about it. You fill it up with ice, you fill it up with your drinks, you could go to the beach, you could have that ultimate tailgating truck for you. And then the best part is when the party's over and the ice is melted and you got a big old, ton of water back here that looks like a bunch of soup, it's got a drain plug to where you could easily just drain it right out. But nice to see them continue the use of that storage. And one important thing is that it's lockable. I know that's another simple thing like, well, duh, of course it's lockable. I like the way you have that exposed lock right there so that you can lock it up nice and secure. And then if you're wondering, well, Joe, can you fold down the tailgate the normal way? Of course you can. Really gives you that easy access. This can support up to 300 pounds. So the tailgates can support up to 300 pounds. But I think the biggest news with this bed is just how you could take the plywood and the drywall and lay it flat. How many times are you at Home Depot and Lowe's and you see those amateurs? It's like amateur hour when people are trying to put those things in the back of their truck and then they drive away and it flies out. Not gonna happen with the Ridgeline. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about power of Honda's truck. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on the Ridgeline. You do have a prop rod, but guess what? Pretty much all the competitors in this midsize truck class has the same setup. But what do we have underneath the hood? This is the big telling point. So what we have is still the continuation of that 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, putting out 280 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission. If you're going to the truck drag races, you're gonna be able to do 0 to 60 in about 6.2 seconds. And the best news is we have that iVT M4 all-wheel drive system. 70% of the power could be sent to the rear wheels and up to 100% of that power can be sent to the right or left side wheel. You could tow, like I said, 5,000 pounds. It's got a payload capacity of 1,583 pounds. So nice to see the continuation of the naturally aspirated V6. I really think that this is a big key point for model year 2024 because guess what? A lot of the competition is switching or has switched over to that smaller displacement turbocharged power plant. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the interior because there's some pretty big changes in this midsize truck. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Honda Ridgeline Trailsport. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need a new truck. I need a new truck. My son stole mine and then crashed it into a tree. And I don't want a big full-size truck, and I definitely don't want one of those little puny compact-size trucks. So it seems midsize is the sweet spot for me. I'm very curious about this Ridgeline. When am I going to be able to buy one? These will start to hit dealerships in the next upcoming months this wintertime. And I know that obviously you want to know about pricing. Basically, you're going to be looking around an MSRP of $40,910. But let's see what you get for the money and what's new for 2024 to the door panels. So I love the continuation of the clean style. You have flat black material, all soft touch up top. Let's think about that for a second. A lot of the midsize trucks we've been in, it's just all hard black plastic. You have that textured surface right above the door handle there. And then you'll notice on the armrest that sun-kissed orange stitching. That is part of the Trailsport trim. No gloss black, so you don't have to worry about the fingerprints. And then check out the center tray. Large enough easily for 4 Twinkies. And you have your cup holder. And down below there, you can get a couple tacos easily down there from Taco Bell. Of course, you could get extra hot salsa to keep you warm during the wintertime. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, same great material, nice soft touch. You got that texturized, easy to keep clean. But the best news is, come on in. What do we got going on here? All new 9-inch infotainment system. And it's not just the size that's new. They've actually increased the functioning capacity of this to make it quicker, more responsive. Of course, you're still going to get all those same great icons. I mean, look at how fast that is. Much quicker than what we were dealing with before. So very, very nice. And then, of course, you can move the icons around. You got your navigation, working your way down. We do have our dual climate control. You do have your engine start-stop button. There's our navigation there. Really confusing. They had us really driving through the snow here in California to get to this location. You do have, of course, your interior Twinkie tray. Nicely placed there. 3 stages of heated seats. You do have wireless charging, USB-A, USB-C, and a 12-volt. Plus a couple areas where you could put a couple of those payday bars, maybe a 3 Musketeer or 2. 2 big cup holders. This has all been kind of restructured. Love the way they have that flat black textured surface. This is going to control that 9-speed automatic. And then, of course, we do have hill descent control. Very, very soft on the armrest, the stitching. Open it up, and we now have more room in here than ever before. Easily be able to put, I would say, 3 8-balls. So the magic 8-ball, if you ever have an important life decision to make, like Steven is making some very big decisions in his life because he's really moving forward, you ask the magic 8-ball. It never leads you astray. Seats, Trailsport embroidery with that sun-kissed orange thread. Love the way they did that all the way down the center. Nice bolstering. You do have electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver. And then, of course, we still have that standard size sunroof. Would be nice to have a panoramic sunroof. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the wheel and what's new in this Ridgeline. All right, guys, business time. Behind the wheel of this Ridgeline Trailsport, you still have your 2 memory seat settings. I like when you go Trailsport, they know you're going to get down and dirty, so they give you those Trailsport specific all-weather floor mats. That's easily worth an extra 5 horsepower. You do have your seat controls, easy to get to. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall, and I really love the space that's in a Ridgeline. You don't feel cramped like a Tacoma or a Colorado. So that's something to think about. The steering wheel, you got the 2 different types of leather, the orange stitching. I think the one thing I would like to see different is that I would like to see a thicker steering wheel. So I am gonna zonk that, but you do have heated steering wheel, all flat black buttons. You do have paddles to go through that 9-speed automatic. It is manual tilting and telescoping. And then there's the new piece of the puzzle. You have a new display. So you have that 7-inch digital display with your tachometer, and you could scroll through different information. And then we have our analog speedometer on the right-hand side. And if you're seeing a bunch of lights lit up, remember, this is a pre-production vehicle, and I am sitting in the snow. So why don't we go ahead, though? We talked about up front. Let's get into the back seat and see what the Ridgeline brings. All right, guys, back seat time. And just like the people sitting up front aren't going to be squished like a grape, back here you're going to be really feeling comfortable because of the room that you have. I'm not even close to the headliner. Nice large pockets behind the seats. You could easily put, I would say, 7 to 8 flapjacks from IHOP. You do have your rear AC. I think the one thing I would have liked to have seen is some AC controls. So I am going to zonk that. But you do have a 12-volt. I have my own pocket over here. I would want to go some French toast. I need some French toast. And remember, I don't know if you noticed, in the center console, you could fit these ginormous bottles. So you could put some Yoo-Hoo in here. You could put some iced coffee, maybe some high C, like Slimer Green high C. Now I'm really dating myself. But they fit perfectly in that center console. And then, of course, you're still going to get nice wide Center armrest here for the rear seat passengers, 2 cup holders, and a place to put some Tootsie Rolls. You flip it back, the seat still folds up to give you maximized room. I can't wait to drive this new Passport Trailsport, but we need to finish it up here in this winter wonderland, so let's get to it. All right, guys, it's been one excellent kind of day, no matter what the temperature is and no matter where I'm wearing my shorts here at our secret winter wonderland. It's almost like being in a snow globe. But I definitely want to thank the whole Honda team for inviting us out to see this 2024 Ridgeline Trailsport. Let me know in the comment section how you're feeling about the changes that they made, especially with this Trailsport trim getting finally those off-road tires that it deserves, and of course, this beautiful diffused sky pearl color. Let me know in the comment section, but if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ladies Rides family. Of course, we need to give it up. Stephen Flood Photography. He's not wearing shorts. He's wearing his full weather gear and an extra jacket just because of how cold it is in this winter snow globe. So thank you, Stephen, for protecting yourself and using protection. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.